He's thinking about smoking a cigarette right now. If you're trying to get his attention.
Poor old man.
Now's the time, Max.
No, he couldn't even actually smoke it. It's poor lungs. Can we make it illegal to horny post on Twitter? That'd be a good one. It's a great one. Why have we not proposed that? It's like 3 people that would just fulfill the entire state budget.
Because we did just go through with people have free speech.
Yeah, but it can be limited.
I don't think we can say how people use Twitter. I feel like that's going down a rabbit hole.
Some ways.
No.
Yeah.
Unless you buy Twitter. You want to buy Twitter?
I mean, if there was a block feature that would
Oh, I would
ignore them.
I would be so happy if I could block a number too.
God, if only. Yeah, that would be amazing as well.
One day, maybe one day,
So I don't have to listen to Gossip Gal giving me shit about.
Gossip Gal?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Gossip Gal is wild. Their misinformation is insane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Getting people's titles incorrect and then, just, yeah.
Hey, chat.
They seem to overhear things and then quote that as gospel, and literally it's just like jokes between friends, and
oh boy,
yeah, they don't do any research.
Mm-hmm.
So take everything that they say with a grain of salt.
Gotcha.
Do we know who that is?
No idea.
No,
I have my
but I want to know.
But I can't prove it.
Tell me.
Hmm.
Tell me who it is.
Like I said, I have suspicions, but I have no actual evidence.
Hey, April, why are you not sleeping? Fine. Fuck. Getting sleepy now, finally. Fair. Yeah, I do am sleepy.
Juno will not be here today. Unfortunately, she informed me and a bunch of other people earlier.
It's okay, we'll miss her. But I'm assuming she'll vote with you was kind of her plan?
That is what she told me.
Okay. Yeah, she seemed pretty confident with that, so that's fine with me.
Full disclosure, Cantor, are you going to be presenting the Sunny Brooks thing?
Yes, yeah, I was. You spoken with her as well?
Yeah, I wanted to disclose that I read over her document and gave some criticisms.
Okay, hell yeah. Yeah, we can absolutely discuss it. I said I'd bring it up on her behalf. It's not like something I'm backing 100%. I just want to give people that opportunity. So,
she came to me last night as well, and I've read over it as well. So
perfect. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely discuss that.
Is Crane awares?
I think he's currently inhaling a cigarette.
Yeah, not quite yet, it seems
that you can't see.
Yes, yeah. Breathing in that MZT.
quick show of hands. Who all has something to present? Malton?
Mine's only on behalf of other people. Two friends.
If you're bringing up the doctor stuff, then I'm just gonna pile on to that. But other than that, I don't have anything specific to me.
Talking about Dr. Pep?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's part of a larger issue that's happening right now.
Yeah. That's
I
that's
think
the
we
only
definitely
thing
gotta
that
talk
I
about
that
that.
I
Mhm.
have a horse in the race for. Everything else, I don't have anything specific.
Cantor, I wanted to talk to you about something. I had an
Okay.
incident
Mhm.
with somebody that
Mhm.
has a condition, and it has
Okay.
been she has been to the hospital. It has been confirmed
Mhm.
and everything. The issue is that there's no place for them to put things down,
So, like a
medical record.
medical records. Yeah, we don't really have medical notes, but we could make a report about anything. I'll probably just have to talk to the captains again and see if that can change, and we'll have access to notes. Currently, we just need to rely on Dr. Kate informing us when they come in.
Okay, because it was a bit of a
To be
shit
honest,
show.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have it it's an actual medical thing, but
Mhm.
PD kept pushing. Unfortunately,
okay.
because they couldn't find any notes, even though
What was the condition?
I don't remember like specifically.
Oh,
She was shot in the head.
Yeah,
Oh.
she has
Okay. Mhm.
epilepsy as a result of a previous
Understood.
injury.
Okay,
Yeah.
and the cops were just kind of denying it because they couldn't get medical proof of it.
Wouldn't the simplest way just to give doctors access to MDT profiles? Then
That
they
would be
could
amazing.
Yeah,
We've asked,
but
It has
no.
not happened yet.
But we don't go down that route, especially not, and that's probably a thing we need to talk about if we're going to talk about
Mhm.
medical stuff. Is if we want to give them more pay, we also have to start cleaning up, and we don't want to have everyone access to the MDT.
Yeah.
There's an issue. There's an issue with giving.
We have limited access already.
Hello.
Hey,
Oh,
so
Hello.
Crane, did you give John Bailey a weapons license?
No.
Who did?
Isn't that? Huh?
No one.
So he gave it to himself.
Guess I need to have a talk with him then.
Oh.
This is the kind of shit that we're afraid of happening with the MDT and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So he does
boy.
have one. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say in the logs that he gave himself one.
Where did it come from?
Good question.
It is occasionally when certain people are hired.
Yes.
by
Yeah,
certain
that's what
people,
all of
they
the
are given them.
EMS got
Yes. Mm-hmm.
weapons licenses in that first
Fraser
like,
got
few
a weapons
days.
license
that we
as
had to
well
have
when he was initially
revoked.
hired.
So it
Oh.
might have been that situation.
I've already asked him about it. We'll see what he says.
I mean, his state ID is pretty low, so it's very possible, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Captain
well-
Slack, not Slacks. Captain Slack.
Motion made for appeal to Murphy Braun.
I guess it's the Murphy Braun case.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, he has
Yeah.
PD account. Bless his heart. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, let's get this shit on the road. The third Council of Eight meeting, the illustrious Council of Eight of Los Santos. May it begin, and may we mourn the current absence of Juno Sweeney, who I am told is at home sick playing video games.
Okay.
First things first, let's handle the easy stuff. Who's got something quick, light? Well, I guess I can go over some of the shit that I wanted to amend.
The answer is that
Mm-hmm.
he was given it day one of the restructuring by Judge Booty. And that was at a time when we were not clear on things. So it has been removed.
Thank you. I had a civilian come up to me and talk about that. So, an amendment has been proposed by ETA in regards to the adoption policy, which I agree with. As it stands now, no one has actually filed for to be registered, and that could be because it is an expensive fee, and it will remain expensive. We're going to drop it by $5,000 to 25,000. Or this is what I'm suggesting we amend it as
Okay.
from 30K to 25K. And there's a couple of logistic errors that I made in writing it, namely with the enactment of the Marriage Act. The state has defined what it means to be married in Los Santos, which means we can use the Marriage Act to tied in with the adoption policy. Essentially, what I'm going to say is, if two people, say like Siobhan and I, were married, if we were to adopt someone, that would be our in quotes adopted person, right? Because we are legally recognized by the state as being married. So the amendment I propose is essentially to permit that, and also to raise the cap of adopted people from 1 to 2, with the second one costing $75,000. Any suggestions about the fee, about the anything I just said?
Holy shit.
I'm indifferent.
Affirmative.
Yep, we already worked that out over the phone, so I'm in agreement.
Oh,
All right.
Okay. Yeah, then no arguments here. Okay,
Cool.
yeah.
I will.
Alton,
write
if
up...
you're speaking, I can't hear you.
Oh.
No, I'm not. I'm indifferent as well. I mean, I don't know
Yeah,
if we want to talk to about it, but there has been a bit of an outcry over the law. But I
Which
think
law?
The
The
one
adoption
child policy.
Yeah.
Have you guys had people come to you?
I have had so many texts, but it's all from
Yeah.
one person, so I'll be honest, I haven't heard too much.
No one's come to me.
I've no one's come to me directly either, but it's more I'll classify it as water cooler talk. To be clear, I still think the law is good. I think we should hold firm on it. The types of complaints I've been hearing around the water cooler is just reaffirming why this law needed to be in place to begin with, if I can be honest.
I would
Yeah.
agree. I'm still for a higher cap and just letting people pay for as many people as they want, but I will vote with you. I think that's reasonable.
We can go up to 3 for now.
Yeah, I'd say 3 is a good
okay.
number. You're
Why don't we
like
just do? Why don't we do 3 and just escalate it by the same cost each time? So 25, 50,
30,
75.
60. Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, I was going to say to double up.
25, 50,
I was going to say
75?
25, 50, 100.
Yeah, isn't that what Crane said just now?
No, I
Did you?
said
he was
25, 50,
saying
75. Add
75.
25 each time.
Yeah, that's what
No, he
Mike
said
just said.
25,
he was
50,
saying
100.
double it. 25,
each
50 to
time.
100.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, sorry. It's late. Okay.
It's
Oh,
okay.
you're good. I think
Yeah, I
that's
got a
good.
quick intersect. You all pull out your phone. Anybody have somebody in their phone that ends in
Way too
2988?
early chat. Wait, what do we look?
Nope, my phone was stolen.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, I don't have one.
That's also not
Are
in
we-
our hospital roster. So I
Are
don't
we
know.
even able to search by number? Does that work?
No,
I don't
think
I had to go through
Oh,
manually.
okay.
Oh, it doesn't? Okay.
Oh, well, then y'all are going to have to wait a
988,
second. I got a lot of
uh,
contacts. Hold on.
I don't have that many, at least. It's not in our hospital roster, though, so that narrowed it down.
Wait, what did they just?
988.
Oh, I actually do. Mr. K?
420-037-2988.
That's Mr. K. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that adds up.
Yep.
What happened?
He texted me in all caps, go fuck yourself.
Okay. Yikes. That's not how he gets things done. Oh boy. I like
I think
Mr.
he's not
K, but oh
happy
boy.
about me getting information out of him surreptitiously. Anyway,
Hey, Elsa.
Funny
You talk-
enough,
you talking about the
that's
other
when
week?
he gave me the phone
Yeah.
number is when he told me that information about when he knew about the law.
oh well.
Oh, Mr. K.
So it sounds like we're all in agreement about the adoption amendments.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Nice, quick, easy. Couple minutes discussed.
Yeah, like I
Are
said.
you gonna? Do you want me to do that right now?
I'm gonna write it out in the original document in the reports, and then I'll put it
And
at the
then
bottom.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I think
I'll-
the amendment will show that we're at least willing to listen. So maybe it'll
Absolutely.
help quell the vocal
Yeah.
masses, you know.
And I
if
caught,
not, then we can talk about it later.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
I caught. Speaking of willing to listen, I caught a little bit of what Mr. Simone here was saying about something about pay. I ain't willing to listen.
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
You talking about the
so,
doctor stuff?
Yeah, so I'm gonna regale you with tales of old real quick. I know that's
Sure.
my shtick here.
With the understanding that we don't live in the past.
Of course.
Yeah.
I am just simply speaking about human nature and giving anecdotes to support my explanation. So, I am firmly of the belief that, much like many nation states throughout history, appeasement is not a good policy. I think that we travel down a slippery slope whereby we need to understand the actual motivation and desires of people, not what they tell us. So my point is as an example, I as a judge in the DOJ before the restructuring dealt with a very similar problem. At that time, I will recall that doctors were being paid approximately $5,000 an hour. EMS were making $4,000 an hour.
Sounds so fucking.
Everyone in the city,
Dang.
criminal or otherwise, was driving around in sports cars and all that. And some of the judges and lawyers essentially felt that they were being left behind in terms of their compensation. And as such, we established a policy whereby we compensated people for doing their job on an iterative basis. So if a judge completed a bench trial or a docket case, they got a certain amount of money. I think in that economy, it was like 30,000 for a docket case, 60 at one point, actually. Bench trials were like 15. Lawyers additionally got those kind of bonuses. And my, I won't call it a suspicion. My conclusion that I'm trying to convey to you is that I don't believe that appeasing people by slowly, incrementally raising their pay will ever be a conclusion that will leave anyone satisfied. Essentially, people will always look at their neighbors, talk about keeping up with the Joneses, and decide that someone somewhere is making more money than them. And they should always be basically equal, and they should always make the same money. I'm not convinced that's a good conclusion. And I think that it is a precedent that I would not like to set, because essentially my belief is that it will never stop. So that's just my commentary.
I agree that everyone wants to get paid more, but the reality is you trying to survive on let's just call it government sector base pay without any auxiliary income is extremely tough, if not impossible.
It is.
Define survive.
You want to go for a moment?
Yeah, sure.
Why is he so quiet?
We don't have a definition for poverty, but I would consider it below a poverty line. Like, obviously we have free health care. You know, the government workers are not going to waste away on the side of the road with malnutrition. They will have their basic needs met, but they will probably be able to afford a shitbox in time if they scrounge and save. Fuck ever getting a house. Now, I'm not saying that a house needs to be an end goal. You know, I think given the economics of our city, not everyone can own a house, and that's just the reality of it. However, I don't think that a policy of don't ever hope to get this is a
Right.
line we want to take, right? Like, I would at least like there to be some kind of light at the end of the tunnel.
So are you insinuating that currently at a government salary, it is impossible to save enough for a car or a house?
To be honest, I would say yes. The only person I know who's been able to get a nice car within the hospital is Pixie. And one I know, she was loaned 30K as well as given a lot of other cash bonuses from people. She's got a lot of friends. She's also worked almost every single day all day. She
I
is the
don't-
only one I know
Right,
that's
but
been able
okay,
to do
but
that at
sorry,
all.
I gotta say, you use the phrase "nice car,"
Mhm.
I was about to say the same thing.
so
Yeah.
again, you're kind of proving what I
I
said,
don't know
which
any
is
of my doctors that
it's
have
about
anything.
keeping up with. Well,
She's
right, but
the
is that
example because she
because
works?
is
every
that
sector.
because they can't afford any car, or is it because they only want the nice sports car that they,
They
see
only
other
want
people
the
driving?
nice sports cars because I'm pretty sure that the
No,
car
that's-
that Pixie bought is one of the
Mhm.
ones that we test drove, Michael.
Because I saw someone
it's looking like
advertising
a
on
Yeah,
the
but like
on
I said,
$100,000
Twitter.
car.
Pixie has worked day in day out every single day since this hospital opened.
I mean,
Like that is the level there. You
So
know,
have
like
I. And I literally just put $175,000 into a home that
I
I
don't care about
purchased with-
having anything nice. I'm just saying that is the bar if for it to ever even be possible for anyone.
Yeah, I guess
whereas there are
I'm-
people that work one weekend and they have enough from something like Group 6, you know?
Yeah, well, okay, so
Okay, well-
that's the thing we also need to.
It's anecdotal too.
Ye-
because
yeah.
it's-
Group 6
I
is
feel like-
literally crippling everything because
It is,
everyone
I
wants
know,
to
it's
do that
awful.
instead of
Well, but hold on,
working their
hold on.
actual
I don't
jobs.
want to deal with anecdotes. I want to deal with
Mhm.
facts.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Okay, because
Craig-
there's a
Wanna hear
lot
my,
of gossip.
opinion of here's how it
Gossip.
is from the doctor standpoint, right?
God damn it.
Don't get me wrong. I'll shut down anyone who tries to form a union and cry about it forever.
Get a
however,
mechanic in
I
there
will
and talk
say
about survival. I could
that
use
from my
Dolly as a
standpoint,
fucking
I do
example.
think
She's never made any
at
money
the end
to
of the day,
being a
the
mechanic.
only thing that we want to ask for as doctors is to keep the hospital staffed. And that is an issue. I know we have a lot of doctors on staff, but that is because currently staffing is still an issue. Even with we've hit over 110 doctors on staff, and we still have numerous points in a day where we are down to no, if not maybe one or two doctors on staff. They just do not
But
work
how
because
many of
they're not
those
incentivized
doctors are
to.
medical professionals?
And some of them are amazing doctors who want to be there. I've had people come to me and say that they just can't make it work. And I don't want anything crazy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not looking to have it constantly increase with everything. I just want to encourage the people
Cap.
who actually are
Thank you so
contributing
much for
to work.
22 months.
Because at the end of the day, as a doctor, the
So what
only
would do
people
that?
who are getting paid, the only people who are getting paid whatever amount we give, are the people who are actually contributing. We have
So
blips.
what would
You cannot
that-
sign on and clock off.
What would
You
do
know.
that? I guess is my
No,
what I'm trying to understand, because right now, for example,
no, Saturn.
a council member,
Before tax, that's
depending
still too
on their
much.
role, makes between
I
like
feel like the
$700 and
800 is a
$900 an
good-
hour.
We
So-
make 600 before tax, as far as
Right.
I'm aware. Which
So
is
if
so
you
little.
were to make
Is there
800
taxes?
before tax,
Mhm.
your tax is what? I'm just
Like
pulling up the state. It
16%?
was rhetorical.
Mhm.
Personal income 16%.
Yeah.
So if you get a $200 an hour bump,
Mhm.
that 200 is cut down by 20. We'll call it, roughly something like $35, $30.
Mhm.
So you're making about 160 more an hour.
Yeah.
Your original net,
I think they should be
was
back to
600,
700.
so call that.
But I also think they need to get rid of half
535.
the people.
So you go from making 535 to making, let's call it 700 net.
To be honest, to me, that would be an amazing change.
That's
I know, like Max pitched like 1,200 an hour.
That's what they
that's
had
not what I'm asking
before.
for. To me, that is huge because at the end of the day, the only people that pay increase benefits are the people who are actually contributing. There is no option for someone to sign on as a doctor
hey Lisa.
and not be actively available at all times. If they do, they will be fired.
So I guess if we extend that out, right? Give me a second. I'm gonna do
Are we
some math.
able to change the pay? Saturn.
So
Is
let's
that on
say
us? I thought that was
someone
an,
who works, we'll
like
call it
admin
full
slash-
time,
Mhm.
is we'll call it 40 hours a week.
Right.
And for this city, people usually don't take days off, so
Mother
we'll
of
call it
4. Thank you
7
so
days
much
a
for
week and
the
8 hours a
16
day
months.
is 56.
I have all our hours if you want a general idea of what people are doing.
Are you asking?
So if
me?
you
Not
work,
many
I'm
people
asking
work that
you.
much.
so all right, so I'm saying if you work
Mhm.
full time, 56 hours a week, we'll call it,
Mhm.
and you're making what you're currently making right now, which is 600 hours
Mhm.
pre-tax, you make 535 an hour.
Mhm.
That's about $30,000.
Our highest hours that anyone has worked this
Yeah.
month so far is 55.
Right. So what I'm saying is that if you were to make 700 an hour net, which is the 800 an hour gross, which is a
Yes.
$200 an hour bump, you're going to go from
Sucks.
$30,000 a month for someone who's working
Mhm.
56 hours a month or a week,
Mhm.
sorry, to 39. And I guess what I'm trying to point at is that in terms of the gap of cost
Mhm.
between, let's say, a low cost, affordable automobile versus a nice one,
Mhm.
that does not seem to me to jump that gap. Because I can buy a car
I
for
agree.
$20,000, right?
Right.
I saw some advertising a club with a turbo secondhand for
I
20
love
grand.
clubs, so that's
I admittedly do not clock as many hours as
Mhm.
most people, and
Right.
I could buy that car, right? And I
Mhm.
guess, and what I'm trying to understand is if the desire and the complaint is that
Mhm.
the money currently being offered does not incentivize people to
Mhm.
work at the hospital,
Mhm.
does $10,000 extra a week create people that are going to abandon those other opportunities to come work at the hospital?
To be
Well,
honest, yes. When we
if,
heard that
if it doesn't work, we can just drop it again.
I mean, yeah. When we heard that $75 increase, a lot of people were extremely happy with that. Like, it's not much, but it's just the acknowledgement that people are they're pretty much trapping themselves in one place where they just have to wait for people to come to them to be available for any time when someone is injured, anytime when someone's hurt. We see every single person in the city, whether they're walking in, self transport, EMS bring them in. It's rough sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a shit
And we have
job,
people
but
that are
if it
putting in a
boils
hell of a
down
lot
to
of
just
hours,
money,
and I
that
just
is
think
not
that they
it
deserve a little bit
either.
more, little bit
With-
more to acknowledge what they do.
With respect to the staffing issue as well, even if we assume that the income people currently are making is,
Mhm.
let's say, sufficient for their needs, houses be damned, right? I believe there's also still a time factor to consider. Respectfully, to the doctors who are
Mhm.
having staffing issues. If someone could make in 6 hours what would take them 8 hours to make, I don't think we should be shackling people to their place of work. And that's also something that uplifting some of these base level jobs, doctors and lawyers primarily, could help accomplish. Lawyers are the least paid in the government, as far as I know. Now, granted, they have a lot of additional freedoms that doctors don't have, but it is a bit of a morale thing, and I think it is a good message to say, like, hey, you don't have to be working for the government 100% of the time you're in the city just to feel like
Mhm.
you could get out there and do something else.
It's a double-edged sword, though, because how many people did you say that you guys have hired now?
We have 110 people hired and still struggle to staff the hospital
Yeah, but why are you struggling to staff the hospital? It's because people are
because
going
they're
off
not
doing it.
getting paid.
Because
You know what? I know
110
why.
of those people did
Yeah.
it because they wanted the money, not because they're a medical professional or care about people. And the second they didn't see
Okay.
the money, they
Here's
walked
the thing,
off.
though.
And
Okay, I have an issue with that. I have an actual issue with that because people who spread that narrative are not thinking about the fact that, sure, if someone might have gotten hired because they wanted to see if the pay was good, that is unfortunate. That means that they are someone who should not stick around. But the thing is, that means that they are someone that will not.
which is funny.
We
You're
currently
saying
have an inactivity
grime,
list.
where
Anyone who
everyone
did
is
not
using
complete their
G6 as
hours
the
for last
example.
month is flagged as inactive. If they do not complete their hours for this month, they are fired. Anyone who is not contributing, if they found out that it doesn't pay enough, then they're just going to be gone. The only people who are working who would benefit from this are the people who are actually contributing. Because the people that are getting money are working. And if they're fucking around with that, then they're just going to get fired.
What's that?
There's a general sentiment right now that I think there's the elephant in the room that we are not addressing is that group 6. Okay, we need to move, I think.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
they need to not yell.
This is fucking annoying.
I can't hear anything.
I can't hear anything either.
I
I-
can
I-
Yeah, all I
I
can hear
couldn't,
is
and now
Slacks,
that's
now
all I
hear
can hear, yeah.
Jackson.
Yeah, I could just.
All right,
hear
let's go to my
Slaxon.
office, everyone. Let's go to my
Okay.
office. Fuck it.
Who's yelling?
It's Jackson.
The judge,
Jerome, Henry
Slacks.
Jackson,
yeah,
and Slacks, yeah.
We can do Juno's
Weird.
office. Actually, it's a little bit bigger.
I couldn't hear anything.
I can't
and
hear
then
anything.
Max said
That's-
something, and then I could hear it all of a sudden.
Yeah,
I
all
can't hear anything
that's
at
all
all.
I can hear.
Also, what is this FPS?
It was really
struggling.
yelling there for a second.
Hold on, I want to see if I can still hear them when the door closes.
Okay.
Field trip.
Field trip.
Guess this is where I would normally be sitting here. Let's see.
Yeah, I guess so. We kind of rebuilt this.
Why don't we all sit in a circle or some shit?
Sure.
I got bad knees. I'm not sitting on the ground.
That's all good.
Fair enough.
Um,
We'll get cozy here.
Group 6.
Fuck that
Group,
job.
group 6. Okay,
Fuck
so
group 6.
people are inherently motivated by money. That's just the way that it is. And when they
Yep.
see their friends or their people, driving nice cars or they've got super fancy houses, they're like, "What do you do?" "Oh, I do group 6."
Money good.
You know what I'm saying? It is a huge staffing crisis right now. Mechanics, doctors, even the only fast food place in Los Santos right now cannot staff enough people to keep it like fully functioning. So we basically have two roads. Okay, we petition the group 6 have their influence be lowered, or we raise everyone else up to match. That's what we have to do.
Input, if I may.
Sure, absolutely.
I know we keep using G6 as the the one that pays out the most and is the biggest issue.
Mhm.
But it's because it's accessible. It seems because Grime pays out the same amount, if not better. If you have
both
been
of them.
Sam.
if you've
Both
been around,
of them.
yeah, okay.
Both
Yeah.
of them. Then both of them are a problem. Then I don't know. Shouldn't a doctor be better paid than a delivery driver?
Yes.
There's an
Yeah.
elephant. Well,
I disagree with those arguments. to
I'll
be
be
hold
honest,
on.
I
We need
also
to.
disagree,
We're
yeah.
on
Mhm.
a border here, and I'm gonna keep this as reasonable as I can. But there's an element that we're not discussing, and the elephant in the room is that if someone fights their way through the train into the city and chooses to spend 8 hours doing group 6, that's their own fucking prerogative. But if you are lucky and entitled enough to be able to come into the city whenever you want as a doctor or lawyer or cop or whatever, then maybe your life's goal shouldn't be to keep up with the guys grinding group 6. And maybe that priority is wrongly placed.
I don't know, Zeldin.
I don't disagree with that, to be honest. I'm not trying to have our pay be competitive with Group 6 or anything. I just want a bump to acknowledge the effort they're putting in, essentially. I'm very much looking for something different than trying to match that. If that's what they're there for, then at the end of the day, it is the wrong reason. I just want it to be not as punishing, I guess, to choose that over Group 6.
I think Group 6 is a problem. I think it is like the boogeyman when it comes to the.
But
fucking
hold on.
economics of
Sorry,
our
I
city.
gotta harp on this. That's not a choice that everyone
not,
has.
not.
There's a false
Bro.
equivalency here.
What do you mean?
Sad, please.
I'm saying if a doctor comes into the city and works 56 hours a week
Mhm.
working
Yeah.
as a doctor, they
If-
have the
if you
ability to
make-
do that whenever they want.
If you make your role play and everything
There are
based
plenty of
around
people that cannot
fucking
come into
money,
the city and work 56 hours a
we're
week
back
doing group
to
6.
But
you
there
know,
are plenty
So
of people who
people
can
Punished because they're choosing to?
in
well, plenty of
3.0.
people have the opportunity to waltz in, and they have,
Mhm.
and they have accumulated a lot of wealth as a result of working these jobs instead of working jobs that they would normally otherwise be working.
I'll be out. The issue is more so with doctors, right? Like, that is the issue is people just don't come because it's more worth it for them to sit on the train and wait so that they can show up and do Group 6. They don't come to
I
work
guess,
for-
but
The fact
They
of the
just
matter is,
wait.
It's a
the fact of the matter is,
balancing
people are
issue.
abandoning essential jobs to work those.
They
jobs.
are, yeah.
That is what's
Yeah.
happening. I've seen it. These guys have seen it.
Yeah, and I'm saying I don't think raising pay is going to change that.
Well, what do we do?
I'm just-
What do we do?
That's a great fucking question.
I completely
I feel like-
hang on. I
yeah.
completely disagree that raising pay.
Yeah,
is,
I don't-
Look, raising
yeah, I don't
pay,
understand
it may help bring one or two people in the door.
Docs
It's
only
not
makes
the end all,
500.
be all, but people are going to
yeah,
leave.
but it's
Like,
600.
we had a saying
and then
in
you have
PD about slapping
tax.
a fucking band-aid on a bullet wound.
Yeah.
I do think that we are approaching a fucking bullet wound with this Group 6 economy and the grime economy. But I would rather apply a band-aid, which is a little bit of a
everyone
base
is looking
increase
at it like
pay,
it's an easy
you know,
fix.
give
It's
them a
not.
little bit of dopamine
Just
hit, give them a
raising
bit
the
of a
money
morale
isn't gonna
increase.
fix
That's
the
really what I'm
overall.
looking for.
Isn't
Isn't
Yeah.
gonna fix the
something where
overall
we continue
issue.
to talk about the
Yeah.
problem and come up with
Like
a more
Max said,
long-term
the issue
solution.
is that there is
And
a
telling people like, sorry,
know,
this is just the way it is.
a golden
that's not gonna
goose,
fix
which
Okay,
is
I
either
will be
G6
clear.
or
I have
grime.
no issue with doing so as long as we all understand that we're doing so. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
I
get
don't
that.
have an issue with patting, fucking little Timmy on the head and saying it's all going to be okay, as long as we all understand that that's what we're doing.
But I
Let's Crane, give everyone gun licenses. We'll go fucking. Let's
Hell
go get.
yeah.
Let's go get
Oh my
G6
God.
out of the city, bro.
Let's do it.
Let's go shoot 'em up.
Like a
I
$200
was-
increase is gonna like solve this fucking problem, Crane. But we gotta start somewhere, and we gotta at least show these people that we
Well,
acknowledge
okay,
that
but
it's happening.
I am fine with doing that.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
I will
little
just
bumps
tell
are,
you-
yeah.
I will just tell you that it is not my viewpoint that starting somewhere is going to.
But that's the
continue.
thing, and I get being a
Because
doctor
I
and
don't
an
wanna
EMS
get- 'cause
can fucking blow
I'll be honest
sometimes.
with
Like,
you.
don't get me wrong.
We had problems staffing doctors at $5,000 a fucking hour. It's just the reality.
Could that have been an issue with the way that they were hired before?
It's because it was very boring back in the day. But we're making a
I mean,
push to make
lawyers
things
are the
far more
same thing.
interesting.
It has always been the same.
Mhm.
I mean, hell,
And that's
there
going to be
were-
the other problem too,
Mhm.
is that if we bump one, everybody else is going, because everybody talks, and that means that everybody else is going to start bitching and moaning about wanting a bump as well. So that's the other
That's why
thing.
we'll talk about all of this.
Is
like,
Eugene
like
and
I said,
Dickhead
I'm
and all
really
these
not
people
trying to
still
get
fucking
specifically Dr. Pay to be anything
No,
crazy. I
no,
just
we hear
Medical?
you. We hear
We'll-
you.
we'll
Please
make
don't think that we
adjustments
don't
for sure.
hear you. It's
Of
just
course, I
that,
appreciate you.
it's not that we're saying, no, they don't deserve it. It's just that if we open this floodgate, then everybody is going, it's going to, a couple of months,
Julio.
down the road or whatnot, then it's going to be the same thing. And then they're going to
Mhm.
want another bump. And,
Okay,
of
if we're
course,
only
the
giving
other
out one pay raise
professions
every
will
couple of
want a
months,
bump
I
as
don't
well.
think that's a problem. I mean, shit, man. That
Okay,
pay
well, that
rate
was just
increase
me
every 2
spitballing,
months, fuck, great. Yeah, sign me up for that. But no, I think a good message, especially. if
Yeah,
we're
no,
worried about the
okay.
optics of all this.
Julio
I
is not
leave
my
the phone
problem
out
because I know
in an
Julio
accurate
actually goes and
number,
works.
Dakota or
But when you
Trish
look
can
at it
correct
from a
me,
point of view
but
that
I believe the PD
it's a
are making
medical,
around $700
like they're supposed to
an
be
hour.
medically
I'm not-
staffed,
I don't want to ultimately.
but then again they
speak
can't find
for
enough people.
the
It's a
doctors or the other factions,
you
but I
were
think it's a
inviting
great
people
message if
in
we say that in a
that
lot of
went
these
there,
government
and we know it as
positions,
a fact.
hey,
They went there
we're
for the
all in it
money,
together,
not
cops,
to be doctors.
lawyers. We're all
Yeah,
making
of
the
course.
same baseline pay, and
Mhm.
if that's just 700, because cops are going to be the biggest hit on the budget if we increase them. I think that's
Mhm.
the fine point to start patting little Timmy on his head if we make doctors and lawyers 700 an hour. If that's where cops are, like I said, I may have an inaccurate number.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about Group 6, and I was also kind of banging on this drum earlier, is that after the last week of being out there policing, it might not be as appetizing to some people as it was a week ago, if I could say that kindly.
Have you all been like hammering them hard?
Yeah, like giving them more
There-
money.
People are getting robbed every 5 seconds that are doing Group 6 now.
Oh yeah, that's
like,
another
literally-
issue we need
Is
to
it
talk
bad
about.
if I say good?
Well,
okay.
I mean, people being violently robbed over and
Okay,
over and
yeah.
over
I
again.
feel, yeah, that's
So I don't know what kind of actual financial toll that takes on the people who are doing that. I don't know what other ramifications it could have for those people doing it, but it is absolutely it's happening at an extremely high rate right now. And I'm not saying that as far as like I don't want to get into the I'm not speaking on the pay increase or anything like that. I just mean the
What is happening?
attractiveness of doing Group 6 might be lessened now going forward.
This
Okay.
is me being an extreme cynic. Maybe I'm just extremely jaded from my
Beetle is
7
just
fucking
fucking-
years when I was on the PD.
Mhm.
Do the group? This is gonna sound so bad, but
Yeah,
do
go
the
ahead.
Group 6 people even care if they're being robbed, or is that just kind of like the cost of doing business? And you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, they report it every time, and they track their vehicles, and they try to help us catch who's robbing
okay,
them.
That's good.
no, that is good. And
From what I understand from some of the nerds, if you lose bags doing Group 6, you lose your payout.
God damn. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never
Yeah.
tried it.
And you're
Uh,
scared.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to throw water on anyone's ideas or anything. I'm just trying to give another
course.
side to the coin, because I do know that I did hear for a while that people were sort of all gravitating towards that because of the pay, but as everyone figured out that that was paying more than anything else, so did the people who don't actually want to work the job and just want the money, if you know what I mean. So
Wait, what are we talking about? I zoned out for a second. When you say that,
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
good with fucking just I'm good with just patting little Timmy on the head, but I'm just cautioning that
Mhm.
perception will always drive commentary, and I think it is our responsibility, yes, to sometimes placate and appease, but also recognize that is what we're doing.
yeah, I feel like
I think-
upping the
I
pay
mean,
is a
honestly,
band-aid
yeah, that's
for now,
yeah.
and then we have to look at the
Welcome
overall.
back, Mr.
We have to look
Kent.
at the overall
Thank you.
problem.
I do.
I completely agree, and like I
Yeah,
said,
no,
my
I-
advocate for the lawyers would be right now just peg their pay to the cops.
It's
which I
it's
think
an
would be
unforgiving job.
$150
That's
increase to
the
$700
fucking
an hour.
that's literally the fucking
And then the DOJ and PD
thing
can
with being
say,
a
like, look,
doctor
at least we
and EMS
acknowledge
is that it's an
we're in this
unforgiving
together,
job.
while we work on a solution. No one government faction between those two. At
Because
least is,
just
like,
because we are
better than the
forcing
other.
medical roleplay doesn't mean
But
that
then you
people lean
have
into it. And
PD
still,
and
now
EMS
it's just that they have
who
to.
have to pay for vehicle repairs and
It doesn't
gas,
change people's mentality when it comes to
You know,
medical roleplay.
like everybody has an argument for, like
We not reimburse those.
no. I did for the first month because everything
Mhm.
was so rough as we were all getting on our feet and getting settled, but
yes,
there
and
have
that's
been
that's
no more
why.
reimbursements
Like
this
even
year.
if we up the pay,
Yeah,
it's
I was
still gonna
not
be
made
hard to
aware.
staff.
Has its pros and cons.
Unless
like
it becomes the
PD,
gold
they're
mine
gonna have
again,
more
where
vehicle
people
repairs
just
by the
go to
nature of
that.
the business, but they can
Imagine
offset
earning
their
more as a
also
costs
doctor
find
than
by
people.
G6. You're gonna run into the same
Yes,
issue
they
that
can.
people
Lawyers
just
can
want to.
also,
EMS can't, so
get
with
contract
Go
that
money.
back
We
to
just
being a
made it
doctor.
so only
Yeah.
lawyers can sign contracts.
Yeah,
well,
that's pretty big. Mhm.
Doctors
And
they're
then
tied to one area. Like,
Yeah, they're kind of stuck. We can accept tips, but no one tips us.
Yeah, like EMS is the only one that can't really like mitigate. So
Make it a
What are EMS
whitelist
making?
gold
What are- yeah,
mine
what
so
are
not
EMS
everyone
making
can
compared to-
join. That
can
is
discuss
it's
all.
literally a whitelist.
so they make the same as PD.
700.
Yep.
It's not bad.
A
I mean,
bonus pay for
I don't think it's
doctors. That's I
unreasonable
feel like
to,
that's
to bump that, considering they have a lot to pay for.
can
Dakota,
talk
how
to,
much money you got in your
Doesn't
account?
need to be crazy.
can talk to Eda about it.
If I went and got my paycheck right now, probably well over 100K.
Holy fuck! Where'd you
But
get
I
that?
also,
Oh my god!
to be fair, I work more than the typical cop does.
Yeah, I know.
much-
Yeah.
Cornwood told me that he dropped
130K.
150,000 or
That's
something,
130K.
on stuff for the
Yep.
PD testing
Cops
cars.
are getting
Yes,
banged.
no.
Holy shit.
Also,
Yeah,
what
but they're
is
not.
this
But they're not getting
yes.
bank, is what I'm saying. Is that
He
they're
works
putting
15
in
hours a day.
Yeah, they're putting 15 to
Aw.
17 hours in
That
a
was
day.
my
That's what I
argument with
did.
Pixie, like that's what she's been doing.
And again,
Yeah.
there
I
will
certainly
always
don't
be
have that.
outliers, right? Like there will always
Yeah.
be
Mhm.
somebody who fucking wakes up,
Mm.
in this storm and wakes up at the Group 6 depot and just fucking takes the truck out and starts trucking.
Yep.
Mhm.
Look, I have no problem. I think
Uh-huh.
that
Can you hear Murphy now?
regardless of what we do, it makes no damn sense for me for
Yeah,
doctors who
but
don't
you
have
need
any
to see it like
overhead to be
this.
making
Fixing your
uh,
G6 truck
the same
is
as
one
PD
run
and
of a
EMS.
like a
So
tier
if we are
3.
going to say bump doctors to, you know, what was the number I threw out? $800 an hour pre-tax,
Yeah.
which gets them
Yeah.
10,000 more a month if they're working 56 hours a month, or a week,
Mhm.
which you said is, you know, pretty.
To be clear, I logged the average of all of the hours for this month. It's 18 hours
Did you log last
this
month?
month. Yeah, I can do that.
While she's doing that, what are judges making now, Crane?
2 to 3 repairs a day.
900.
No,
800, 900, yeah.
I don't fix
900.
my vehicles 2
Before
to 3
tax.
times a day.
Yeah, and I will again. I would
well-
I would wager a guess that
Well,
Yeah,
G6 has
the
become
last
more
95% of my
dangerous now
judges-
there's
29
weapons
months.
now.
Or 29 hours.
95% of my judges, well, let's just say most of the time they're playing Parcheesi in their apartments until a case comes up.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
The
what
thing
I
is,
figured.
doctors like I know you talk about no overhead and everything, but they can't go anywhere, right? Like we're stuck. We're not allowed to do anything else. We're all tracked now. Like everyone who's there is contributing with everyone who comes in. We have like everyone in the city. Like we do a hell
Hey,
of a
Beetle.
lot. I'm not gonna lie. So like I get what you mean. I just want
Thank you for the
enough
raid.
to make that feel worth doing. You know, it's not an easy job.
Yeah. So okay. So let's just put some numbers on the table. So
Okay.
so cops and EMS are currently making $700 an hour. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I think it's fair that a cop or an EMS makes the same as a base level city council member. Is any do any of y'all feel like you deserve more than a cop or an EMS?
No, that's
Nope,
fair.
I think
I'd agree to
that's
that.
fair.
Yep, that's more
Okay,
fair.
so we could do 800 an hour for cops and EMS.
Okay.
Doctors, because they have no overhead, call it 700. Is that reasonable?
Sure. Yeah, that's all. Sounds like fine with me.
How much are
Yeah,
doctors
now
making
that I'm
right
aware,
now? People, hold on. People like whole numbers. How much are they making right now?
believe
It's
it's
set
around
at 625.
Okay, so make it 725. Say you got $100 an hour.
725. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Is
Is
someone
that-
writing this down?
Will that appease? I got it all written
Yeah,
down. I'll
I'm
send
writing
it to
I'm
the-
writing it down
yeah,
as well.
okay, perfect.
Nice.
I was gonna say lawyers should be the same as PD, but if they're getting a bump, that might be too drastic. I mean, just I think 700.
What are lawyers at right now, Miss Treasurer?
550.
Yeah. That's the
550.
They're the
Yeah,
lowest out of
550.
everyone.
Okay, so we put lawyers at 650. Give them $100 an hour too.
I think
Yep.
it should be 700.
Okay.
I
they
agree
don't
with
have
700.
any, but they don't
thing-
have repairs and
They
they don't have to
also
pay for their
They-
loadout.
do
they
their
don't-
own thing a lot of the time, whereas doctors never can when they're on duty.
To be fair, a judge's job and a lawyer's job are probably some of the most intense, most acumen required jobs that I can even begin to fathom. I know it may seem easy to people who've done it for a long time, but there are a lot of people who would not stand a chance in a courtroom or preparing a case or doing whatever is required of them. So while they may not have overhead, I think it's important to recognize that it takes a lot of talent to actually do it well,
Well, Senor
I mean,
Buns
or
is
at least,
also
or at least entertainingly.
Senor Buns is gonna
Well,
keep
counterpoint.
I
diving
don't disagree. Hold on, I just want to say something real quick. I don't
Mhm.
disagree.
because it's a shit
And
cost
I'm
to be
gonna
there.
beat a dead horse here, but I have always held the position that it is perfectly reasonable in our society that some lawyers are public defenders. What I mean by that is they choose to simply respond to requests for cell reps, and they work as criminal defense attorneys, and they, don't network, they don't put themselves out there, they're not aggressive with demanding retainers or contract fees or anything. And there are some attorneys, and there have been numerous that I can cite to, who are aggressive in demanding contract fees, and they all came from the same place, right? They all started off as public defenders. And as they build a reputation for that skill set, which you're talking about, Mr. Thoroughbred, they can command fees that are, I would say, much higher than any other profession ever could of government worker. So I think that there is an opportunity there that's reflected in having a low base salary for a public defender.
I think at 700, they're still the lowest out of everyone in the government, but it both the lowest paid jobs
But
start with a
Malton,
7.
how much would you need to make up that gap in full-time work,
What is the
in extracurricular work?
what
as an
what
attorney?
what are people getting paid across the board though? We're getting
As
paid
you
what,
said before,
800?
Crane, it is about perception in a lot of
Which is
cases.
100
and if
more.
I hear as a lawyer that my paycheck starts with a 6, whereas literally everyone else in this goddamn bureaucracy starts with a 7 or more, that makes me feel beyond shitty.
Okay, as long as you
Um,
recognize that it's based in perception and not reality.
And that's a my
Yes, of
counterpoint
course.
also was that, police are expected to do their job and act as prosecutors as well. So
But they
Don't
have
even
the
get me
they have
started
they
as to why police should be getting paid and other than money. Okay, like look, police they need to have a life too. They get money, but let's also let's talk about that police is the most desirable job in our government bureaucracy as well, and I think that should factor into their pay a little bit. If I could be completely blunt.
I think that's reasonable too. I'm not gonna lie. It's tough to be stuck at the hospital when they can go out and explore wherever the hell they want.
Now
and
we're
do
going down the
whatever.
Are you
rabbit
saying they should
hole.
be
And
paid
this is,
less,
This is why it's a problem.
Yeah, were you saying that, Malton?
I'm saying that I think your pay is just fine about at 700.
Well,
but if
no,
we're
I'm just
wanting to
saying,
raise all
like,
tides,
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to that.
I was just bringing up the point. I wasn't pleading for them to be paid more. I'm just saying that,
no.
that may be why they're set the way that they are set.
yeah. Well, the
yeah, I
police
think
the
that's
police
fair.
have the opportunity and ability to hire a lawyer for them, right?
Correct. And there is no district attorney's office, and there will not be.
Mhm.
Yep.
So they don't necessarily have to represent themselves. They just can or have to if no one else can, right?
I'm going to give a very blunt counterpoint to that, and
It all really comes down to the server.
Inaccurate information, but they don't have the money to hire an attorney. That is.
Do we want
Well,
money?
there's a
to
weird
do-
contradiction here because all I hear from attorneys is that there's no one willing to pay them. And then I hear from PD that they want to hire attorneys.
Maybe it's the rate that the people are trying to get hired at that there's a breakdown in communication on.
There's always a
but-
breakdown in communication.
Regardless, my gripes will be settled if lawyers make 700 an hour. I think that's fine for cops as well, but that's just my personal opinion.
With the full understanding that my wife is an attorney, I agree. I've seen the amount of work that goes into doing that job, and I think they are deserving of that fat 7 at the beginning.
Yeah, I don't got an issue with it. I just
My laugh.
Let's put this one to a vote since it seems contentious.
What are the final numbers we're voting on?
Well, let's vote on the lawyer specific one since it's fresh in our mind right now, and then we can go through the other ones. So 700 for lawyers before tax. Any not in favor, please raise your hand. Affirmative, unanimous.
Crane,
Good, excellent.
Crane, you're in charge of hiring lawyers and whatnot, right?
Yep.
All right, then I don't have an issue.
Fair
Um,
enough.
Sick. What were the other numbers again?
So lawyers have been bumped up to 700. Doctors are at 725. EMS and PD have been bumped up to 8.
You get
And then-
100. You get 100. You get 100.
Yeah.
And now
know it's not
nobody
significant, but
makes
I
anything that
think
starts
we'll
with
be
a
happy with that.
6.
Where's
so-
where's
There you
our
go,
bump?
yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Don't argue that. There you
The
go.
thing that
Oh,
the thing that,
well,
the thing
hold
that
on.
pisses me off about
Oh.
all the discrepancy in
Mhm.
pay between government jobs, whatever, and people who are running G6 or Grime or whatever.
Where's my bump?
Yeah, they can choose to do that, and yeah, maybe they will get the boot eventually from being able to work 90 hours at their fucking job, right? That said, who gives the boot on the houses that they were able to buy, the cars that they were able to buy, and all of these things are in limited stock, right? And we've
Yeah.
got people who are working necessary and important jobs that are going to
can't even
miss
do
out
that.
on the opportunity to get these limited stock things because we have no method of actually,
That's-
reclaiming
agree.
that
Well,
stuff.
hold
I
on.
agree.
That's not true. Just you
Oh
wait.
yeah, you're gonna reclaim shit? Hell yeah. Okay.
Well,
that's
no,
Can we?
I'm just listen. I'm just going to tell you right now. I know you hate hearing about the past, but look, here's how it goes, okay? People get lots of money, they get race cars and nice houses, and then they get bored. And they start robbing banks and dealing drugs, and then they get caught robbing banks and dealing drugs, and then I seize their cars and their houses, and then they go back on the market. And or
That Hydra G-Wagon was great.
these people then can't afford their asset fees, and then they get repossessed. So I would not stress too much about a limited economy.
I want to
Yeah.
ask, like, are we actually
I was
going to
gonna
enforce it
say,
this time or not?
I know that we touched on it briefly on the first meeting, but was limiting the amount of homes that you can purchase going to ever be a thing
Asset
that
fee's
we
going to be a
want to
thing?
do,
Well, you
given
pay
the
utility bills
limited
now.
real estate that we have available to us
I
currently?
wouldn't be.
get
I wouldn't.
that,
I
but
would.
I
I wouldn't
think
be opposed to that.
They'll just get other people to buy it, but I think we should still limit it because we should force them to do
Yeah.
that. Like,
I
if
think,
they're gonna,
yeah.
they should try if they want to have a bunch of property.
Yeah, it should. Yeah, they should actually
Isn't
put forth
there-
effort. Yeah,
I know there was a limit in the past. Is there
it
not
was
anymore?
2. No, there's not.
Okay, well, maybe we should legislate that.
Okay, because I
Well,
know.
and I would
previously it was 2
suggest,
homes
well,
per.
Yes.
I would suggest that the way we could limit that without putting a hard limit on it would be to, tax them.
Like introduce a new tax.
No, like not leave it at 4%.
Oh, well, that's not changing.
Okay. Hard limit it is.
Could we
Right.
compound it based on how many properties you own?
I would be that's something I would be interested in.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
asking, by the way.
I don't know if we can do that.
Okay.
We can ask.
Okay.
Yeah, it probably is not possible.
I will tell you that if we ask to do that, it will be something that will only go into place probably a month or 2 from now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
And
okay.
that was literally just off the top of my head. That's not something that I had like planned basically. I
So
was just
for
thinking
now,
out
we
loud.
can introduce a hard limit, and then we can revisit the compounding interest at a later date if it's feasible. Does that sound like something that we could?
Mhm.
That
Okay,
way,
so what
because
are we
I know.
proposing? Houses? What's the hard limit?
I mean, I don't know how many.
3
I-
residentials per entity was what I was thinking the first week, but
3.
3 per entity?
Yeah,
That's
I
a
mean, like I
fucking
said,
lot.
the old limit was 2. And then
I was
is there
going to say
anyone
2.
that we know off the top of our head that owns more than 3 houses.
Mr. K.
Something
Mr. K, yeah.
Yeah, he
Okay,
owns
No.
4.
Hmm.
Well, he can wait and make it a business, and then go that way. As an individual, I don't see why you should have more than like 2 houses.
Well, he's got a felony. He ain't running a business.
Yeah, I
no,
was gonna
hold
say.
on.
Oh, all right.
Well, I mean, if we're saying 3, what do we? Are we grandfathering in the individual?
I think that would be
before.
the only
You
feasible
can't
way to
really
do it.
force someone to sell their shit, but
Does
I
he
mean,
have-
we're
3
the
is a
government, we
lot.
can.
Yeah. Yes,
that's
you can.
true.
It's called
I
eminent
guess we
domain.
could.
I guess we could. I think 3 is a lot. I'll be honest. I think one person shouldn't need to own more than one house. If their
I
spouse wants
agree,
to get
but-
another house, if their best friend wants to get another house, that's
Oh, he
fine.
has
Why should one
4
person
houses.
have to own more than one?
3's a lot. Yeah. 3 is still a fuck ton. Should be 2.
Listen, I'm not a big fan of eminent domain, so I ain't trying to go retroactively and seize
Yeah,
people's shit after they
I'm
already
not
own it.
trying to either, but I think if we can limit it in the future, that would be
Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
I'm okay with that.
But
So
what are we
what
saying the
is
limit
comfortable
is?
for everybody?
I'm good with 3 if everyone else is.
I wanted to say 2, but
I would say 2.
I'd say 2. I think
All
think
right,
2
I'll
is
amend
already
mine to
pushing
2.
it.
I thought, yeah, okay.
If a 2 is what the wind's blowing, then yeah, 2's fine by me.
Should this be classified by neighborhood or is it just period?
I would say
I would say
right?
period.
Period.
Yeah.
Period. 2 per person.
Yeah.
Or / entity.
What do you think, Max?
I'm not for a cap on this.
You're not for a cap or up for a cap?
Not for a cap.
State your reasoning.
I'm a capitalist.
Yeah.
That's why.
Oh.
Well, hold on. You're a capitalist. What does that have to do with owning a cap on homes?
Well, I mean, who puts caps on the amount of food that people are allowed to eat from their government? It's communist shit, man. Trying to limit this, it's like we're basically giving them permission to do. We're stifling potential business for people who are interested in doing real estate stuff. One,